they are going to maintain it. These are different examples we have worked on, and different agencies which are involved, and our whatever experiences we have with the different agencies. Now, as we are studying the Khan River and Nag River case studies, so I have developed something for the Khan River and Nag River also. The future of water governance should be that we should treat the water and we should recycle and recharge the thing. Not only recycle, but recharge the groundwater also and surface water bodies also. Thank you for patience listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Joshi, for giving a very elaborate display of all your experience which you have done. I'm sorry, I understand that when you have so much to tell, it's very difficult to really tell in a short period, but we have to abide by the time given to us. I'll now request Mr. G.K. Bhat to give his comments, but in as little time as possible, so that we can keep some, at least we can take.
I'll take around 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, fine. I have a couple of comments. Okay, one is that how do we scale it up? Okay, so one, we should not be looking in urban situations as only one solution. We should look into multiple solutions. Ecological engineering. Ecological engineering, as well as even some of the places which are very, very dense places, we really have to look into from the ridge to valley approach, to start with the uppermost area, solve the problems and slowly get down, so that not the end of the pipeline you are looking into solutions. I think like three very important, we have been doing some of the work in Indore. We are experimenting, working with municipality and trying to see, like wastewater treatment, what all options are available. Okay, and we have mixed experiences. Some of them, the whole maintenance and all those issues come in. So I think three important things which you should look into when you're talking about water and waste. We cannot separate out water and wastewater treatment. It is one unit actually. Water and waste is actually has to be meshed up together. And also slowly we should also mesh the third part, that is the energy. Okay. Unless we do all this meshing up all of them together, then we will be actually having the same silos of wastewater is separate, water is separate, and something is, or the energy is separate. So I suggest that we look into 2-3 principles which can actually take the whole water debate forward. One is, conjunctive water management, using all sources of water, right from the groundwater, surface water, recycled wastewater, and taking that as a unit and see like what is fitting where. Second is, the whole approach of defenders. There are 3 qualities of water which we basically look into. One is the drinking water. Second is, is fit for full body contact, that is washing and all those things. And the third thing is, gardening and all, C-class water. So how do we actually, our users, how do we actually put into these 3 boxes and see like what can come from where. And the third thing is, the whole principle of subsidiarity. That's all about management and institutions. So subsidiarity is basically we have to look into we should not say the municipality should not be taking all the responsibility. They should say, okay, the colony should be taking responsibility for certain work, and beyond the colony we should not be getting into. Municipalities cannot. A 5 million population city will require 1 million meters if we actually they are doing 24/7. If it is done at a colony level, you require only 10,000 meters, which any municipality in India will be able to manage 10,000 meters for a city of 5 million. Otherwise, the dream is not going to be met. We will be having 50% of the people still without sanitation and 30% without drinking water, and we can go on giving the debate of no, we will give you subsidy and all. Subsidy for whom? In Delhi, when you talk about subsidy, there are 30% do not get water at all. Where do you see get a subsidy? Tomorrow, if they put a PIL and say that, okay, give me my subsidy, the government will be, the municipality will just sit down, they will not be having the money to pay them. Forget about water. So I think we have to combine all those things and see that we are giving responsibility more and more responsibility to the lower levels, that is starting from the colonies. And what they have done in Haryana, already they have done in urban areas. They said, we'll meter the colony, not beyond. After that, it's your responsibility. And the last point which I want to say is, the total investment, we have done the exercise for Indore, the total private investments on water of Indore is equivalent to the ADB last phase which they are putting. More than that, people are invested. Private investments, middle class and upper class, on water. So, why can't we formalize this and build a synergy from colony, household to the colony to the city, rather than saying that we will provide everything to you and we are not able to provide. The municipalities will not be able to provide. So I think there has to be a clear boundary which is put and say that, okay, after this it is your responsibility, up to this I'll provide you water. And then you can monitor how much is recycled, how much water is required. From 135, maybe many of the places we can take it to 70 LPCD. That means that remaining 50% can actually be used for the poor. I think we have to really do a control alt delete and start all over again, rather than trying to do some going on adding up something and saying, promising that I will give you water. Municipalities should say, no, we will give at the colony level. After that, sorry, it's your job. Anyway, every colony has the infrastructure sufficient to give the delivery, and they have the mechanisms to actually collect the money. If they can collect the money for the Diwali and Holi, they can very well control, they can also manage this thing. I think municipalities should become smart. That is becoming the smart cities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bhat. Now we can take a few questions. We are already running late by around 15 minutes. Very focused questions, and we can start with. Please announce your name so that others can also, there might be some recording going on.
Thank you, Dr. Gosai. I'm Arunabha Ghosh, Council on Energy, Environment and Water. I need to get to the other workshop you're organizing, but all the 4 presentations were so interesting, I wanted to stay and listen. I wanted to just touch upon 2 points that both Mr. Bhat and Ms. Joshi have mentioned. When you take this principle of subsidiarity and then apply it on the ground, as you were describing, Ms. Joshi, you have different sets of stakeholders. You have the government, you have the users, you might have some scientific organizations. The real question then becomes, under what conditions will collective action actually work, right? So some of the research we've been doing, we find that there are different stages of this, and I would like you to comment on that. That the presence of a threat or an opportunity, an immediate crisis or an immediate opportunity, does trigger some action, or where there are strong social ties and networks. This is exactly what you're referring to in the urban context. But once you've triggered some sort of on-the-ground activity, you still need to build up the critical mass, because that same water resource is being drawn on by other sources or other users that are not part of your social network. And then when you have an exit strategy, say if a company says, my CSR activity is over, etc., what sustains that work? So that's the process where the subsidiarity element has to go back to the formal institutional structures. So if you could comment on that, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
This kind of model is there at Ahar River, where we discuss it with the local commissioner, and Aparna Arora was there at that time, and she told us that if you go through the government funding, it will take 5 years to get the funding, and your project will be not on place for the 5 years. So we discussed it with the industrial association, and they were ready to fund for the project, because so many industries are there discharging, whether after treatment or before treatment, they are discharging in the river. So we discussed with the industrial association, and then at that time only we discussed the maintenance part also. So whatever funding was allotted, it was with the maintenance. So whatever maintenance funding they gave, we put it in the bank, and now one NGO is monitoring the thing, and whatever funding industry has given, on the basis of that, they have given contract to one local contractor who is maintaining the. So actually, since the requirement of maintenance is less, so it's possible for the industry also to give funding for the maintenance. And they have just invested one time, and on the interest of that funds, the local NGO is maintaining the system. This is one kind of model. Now in Ludhiana, we are working totally with government. There is no local agency involved, no NGOs are involved, so we are facing a lot of problem for the maintenance. And same part is in Maharashtra, where NGOs and local bodies were involved. We were able to maintain the things, but when purely government system is there, then there is a lot of problem and crunch of funding. This is what our experience is.
Thank you. I will take a couple of more questions. Yes, please.
I am Shashikant from ICET. I would like to comment on the typology and the evolution phase that 6x4 matrix Himanshu presented. Essentially from what it appears, it looks like we are actually focusing more or too much on groundwater by adopting that typology. But if you look at cities, in reality, the way actually they are encroaching water resources, they are going very far distances across basins, or even in basins long distances, and fetching water. So there is this layer of surface water accessibility that needs to be overlaid on that 6x4 matrix. At core, essentially, when we are talking about urban water systems, we need to actually add, in addition to the water budgeting, looking at city population demand and how we are going to meet the supply, there is a need to actually give a temporal dimension to it. They are rapidly expanding cities. This is going to be the inflow, and this is going to be the pollution load, and how we are going to treat it over a period of time, and that needs to be broken down into plan and actionable items, and at each city level, I think.
Thank you. I think that's what Mr. Bhat was mentioning about the doing an exercise where the water budgeting has to be done, and then you have to look at every element, whether it's really falling in place or not. Yes, I think that hand was fair first, and then lady here and the last one here.
Professor Sanjukta Bhadri from SPA Delhi. As urban planners, I want to point out or add to it the spatial dimension of cities which contribute to this, the changes which is happening to the systems. Each within, it's about intra-city. Now within the city, the heterogeneity of the city, for example, drains which are leading into the river or the water body, catchments characteristics are different. Somewhere there are industries, somewhere there are high density settlement, somewhere, so we don't, many a times we ignore this aspect of the spatial variations, and we try to put a one approach which maybe, though there will be common approaches, but there would also be some typicality which within the city we have to work at. And with more and more cities becoming metropolises and mega cities, this problem would, maybe this has to be looked into in future.
I think you're right. There cannot be any debate on that, because you have to know that what is coming into these drains, and whether it's a industrial effluent or whether it's domestic sewage. So that is a matter of detailing, basically. You have to look at. You want to say something?
I just want to say something. When you look into spatial dimension, one thing is, none of our planners, I was just checking up with all the planning schools. Is there any micro-planning, urban micro-planning? There is none. I think, we should really require urban micro-planning, looking from bottom to top as well as from top to bottom, and looking for the synergy across the scales. A lot of things